What's up, everybody? Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. So, James Harrison is trending all over Pittsburgh Steelers social media after former quarterback Charle Bacth floated the idea of bringing in the 42-year-old former outside linebacker and sack leader for the Pittsburgh Steelers, all time sack leader, James Harrison, after Bud Dupree is out for the season with a torn ACL. In my opinion, it's not going to happen. It's a lot of clickbait right now. James Harrison is retired. He's not even a free agent. So, in my opinion, bringing James Harrison in here is just not going to happen. Like James Harrison. He's one of the greatest linebackers in Pittsburgh Steelers history, but the guy's way past his prime. I mean, he hasn't been in the league for 3 or 4 years, hasn't even taken a snap in the NFL. And to be honest, ever since Mike Tomlin released James Harrison, he's kind of been throwing shade on the Pittsburgh Steelers organization and Mike Tomlin. I remember last year there was that little scandal, all that media hype when James Harrison said Mike Tomlin handed him an envelope. And there was pretty much all that Bounty Gate conspiracy theories going around about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then he basically backtracked on his statement and said there was no Bounty Gates, no paying for illegal hits. So to me, even if he was still, in his 30s and was just coming off a season with another team and was a free agent, I don't think that Pittsburgh Steelers would have brought him in, especially after all the drama. And I'm going to pull up some quotes from Mike Tomlin. Coach Tomlin said calling on rookie Alex Highsmith is the same when Spillane was the next man up. And Bob Labriola even came out with a report that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go with the next man up mentality. So those are two very major Steelers insiders. Obviously, the coach, Mike Tomlin, pretty much said that it's going to be the next man up. I floated the idea of possibly bringing Clay Matthews in here, or a Cameron Wake, or even a Terrell Suggs. At least those guys are not in their 40s. James Harrison's way past his prime. I know it's trending right now, but in my opinion, there's no way we're going to bring this guy in. I know he was seen in a doctor's office in Pittsburgh. I think that's just merely a coincidence. James Harrison took the pictures on social media just to pretty much start this story, to get clicks, to get clout on his page, because he's basically an analyst now for Fox Sports. So I think this has a lot to do with it. It's just mostly clickbait, mostly bullshit. I don't see the Pittsburgh Steelers bringing in James Harrison. I really don't see the Pittsburgh Steelers bringing in anyone. If anyone, I'd say Clay Matthews would be the best option. I know Cameron Wake is considered one of the best edge rushers according to the website that I was reading, but to me, I don't see it, man. I really don't see us bringing in James Harrison. I don't even see us bringing in Clay Matthews. Clay Matthews is 34. So if we're going to bring in anybody, it's probably going to be Clay Matthews, which I don't even see what it's going to be, because Mike Tomlin basically said, just like Spillane, Alex Highsmith is going to be the next man up. He's been giving us some productive reps, but at the end of the day, Bud Dupree is some very big shoes to fill. He's had 8 sacks so far this season. So we'll see what Alex Highsmith can do coming in here. I know Oli Adani has been getting a lot of hype, especially coming out of training camp these past few years, like I said in my last broadcast. So we'll see. Them guys splitting time, splitting reps. We'll see how it all plays out. Like I said, maybe Vince Williams can get in some reps there, and we start working Avery Williamson in there more at inside linebacker, because Vince Williams can definitely get after the quarterback. He's a pretty good pass rusher, and Avery Williamson, I think, is a solid linebacker. That was a really good trade we made. So Avery Williamson can definitely be, a big piece to this defense, and I think he can come in and make some big plays for us. I think Highsmith is definitely the plan for the future at outside linebacker. I mean, we drafted the guy. Bud Dupree is going to be demanding a lot of money in this offseason. So I really don't know how the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be able to re-sign Bud Dupree. I know a lot of Steelers fans don't want to hear that because Bud Dupree's a great player. I love Bud Dupree, but I just don't see how we're going to be able to bring Bud Dupree in here with all our salary cap issues. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can work the salary cap. I mean, you can restructure contracts. You could cut players to make some space. Maybe some players retire that you don't think are going to retire. That's going to free up a lot of cap space. Like if a Joe Hayden retires, that would free up a ton of cap space. But we're going to see what we got with Highsmith. Highsmith is going to be the future. What's up, Ice Legacy? Highsmith's going to be the future of this team, the future outside linebacker. Like I said, he's been somewhat productive so far for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We can pull up Alex Highsmith's stats right here. See how many sacks he has this year, and he had a big interception that first game we played the Baltimore Ravens. And like I said, Missy Matthews came out, Coach Tomlin said calling on Alex Highsmith is the same as calling on Spillane when Bud Dupree went down. Highsmith only has 1 sack this year, only 14 tackles, 1 interception. So this is a big injury to Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree got 8 sacks on the season. Highsmith is 6'4", 242 pounds. Bud Dupree is like 260, 270, and he's got speed with his size. So this is such a big injury to fill for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know there's a lot of people out there talking like the Pittsburgh Steelers are overrated right now. And Colin Cowherd was out there talking garbage on the Pittsburgh Steelers, saying that the Tennessee Titans are better than us now that we lost Bud Dupree. He was basically saying Derrick Henry is going to be able to run all over the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're overrated as it is. But honestly, we are the teams we've played on our schedule. We have better team. We have a better, the teams we beat, we have a better win-loss percentage than the teams the Kansas City Chiefs has played. The Kansas City Chiefs really hasn't played anybody this year. So, I mean, yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs are good. I'm not going to lie. But to sit there and act like they've beat these great teams, I think is completely ridiculous. I had a nice little tweet. Here's who the Kansas City Chiefs beat. They beat Bill O'Brien and the Houston Texans. They needed overtime to beat the 3-8 Chargers. They beat the Ravens. They beat Brian Hoyer, lost to the 6-5 Raiders. They beat Buffalo, beat the 4-7 Broncos, beat the winless Jets, barely beat the 4-8 Panthers, barely beat the Raiders, barely beat the Bucks. So it's not like they're going out there and destroying teams. Like they're destroying, bad teams. And when it comes to playing good teams, just like us, they're close games. They barely beat the Raiders, they barely beat the Bucks, and they beat Buffalo handily. They got 3 good wins on their schedule, just like us. I mean, we beat the Ravens twice, we beat Tennessee, we beat the 8-3 Cleveland Browns. So we got some good wins on our schedule. Sure, it was a tough game against Kansas City. Sure, the Ravens had a lot of people on their COVID list. But the same with us. We had a lot of people on our COVID list. James Conner was on the COVID list. A few others was on the COVID list for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we beat the Baltimore Ravens twice this year. I mean, pretty much Baltimore before the season was ranked number 1 in the ESPN power rankings. We were way down there at middle of the pack. Nobody expected the Steelers to be this good right now. And we're undefeated. Sure, we're not blowing boys out, but we got a great defense. Ben's been playing well. I would like to see the running game get more consistent. Benny Snell had somewhat of a solid game, 16 carries. He had like 65, 66 yards. So it's not like Benny Snell is a total scrub neither. I would like to get more consistent on the ground. But, we're pretty good at running the ball. We're killing it in time of possession this year. I don't think that has everything to do with the run game. I think it has a lot to do with our short passing game is kind of like the run game, kind of like with the New England Patriots. We can spread it out. We get it out quick. That's what I like about Big Ben Roethlisberger and what he's doing this year. Ben's getting the ball out really quick. They said he has the quickest release in the NFL this year. So Steelers, they're 11-0, man. What else can you say? We're overrated. We're overrated. We're overrated. We're undefeated. We're beating the teams that we have to beat. And that's all that matters. Who have the Cleveland Browns beat? The Cleveland Browns haven't beat anybody that good. Like I said, the Kansas City Chiefs hasn't beat anybody that good. We drew the NFC East this year. We don't make the schedules. We got to play who we got to play on the schedule. And Colin Cowherd, according to Colin Cowherd, the guy who's bashing the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, said the Ravens are going to go 14-2. The guy Colin Cowherd is one of the ones that started all the hate on Mike Tomlin. He was the main guy that started all of this Mike Tomlin hate, talking how Mike Tomlin isn't this, Mike Tomlin isn't that. But Mike Tomlin just passed Marv Levy all time in NFL wins. And Marv Levy is a Hall of Fame coach. So Mike Tomlin is on pace to surpass Bill Cowher in more wins coming in. He could pass it this year. I doubt he'll pass it this year, but next year he'll have more wins than Bill Cowher, who is another Hall of Famer. In 15 years, the same amount of years, Tomlin will have more years than Bill Cowher, the same amount of Super Bowls as Bill Cowher, a better win-loss percentage than Bill Cowher. So the Mike Tomlin slander is ridiculous, and it all started with Colin Cowherd. So this guy is nothing but a troll. He tweets out and does all these controversial takes just to get reactions right now from people. That's all it is. It's not about being right or wrong with Colin Cowherd. It's just basically trolling. It's elite level trolling to get ratings, to get people talking, to get people all fired up, to stir the pot. So that are just some of my thoughts on this. See, I got a few tweets lined up. This is from Mark Colby. The Steelers can clinch the AFC North with a win over Washington and a Browns loss to the Titans. So, Washington, I think we can beat Washington. Washington really got Terry McLaughlin, who's an okay receiver. They got some okay running backs, but their offense hasn't been good this year. Alex Highsmith, I don't see Alex Highsmith being able to do much against our defense. He's basically a dink and dunk type of quarterback. We're still elite at stopping the run. I like our defensive line. Even without Bud Dupree, we have an elite defensive line. Stephon Tuitt, Tyson Alualu, Cam Hayward. I think Cam Hayward, honestly, is the best player on this defense. Some people might say TJ Watt, but I think Cam Hayward doesn't get the glory stats. He does the things in the trenches to open up everything for this defense. So I think we're going to beat Washington. The Browns and the Titans game is going to be a very interesting game. Both those teams are 8-3, so we'll see who can win that game. I don't really know. I think that game's a coin flip right now. Tennessee's probably favored by like 2.5, 3 points, if I have to guess off the top of my head. And here's a tweet from Mike Pursuta. 3 takes that resonate from the Steelers. 19-14 over the Ravens. Drops happen and have with Johnson, Ebron previously, but the 8 or so versus the Ravens, only Juju and Moon was an abbreviation. If it happens again as a group, they'll lose. Until it does, keep throwing it. If it does, keep throwing it anyway. That's how we're beating teams. Ben threw it like 51 times against the Baltimore Ravens. So you got to love it. There isn't another quarterback in the AFC North that can do that, maybe besides Joe Burrow. I mean, Lamar Jackson can't throw it 50 times. Baker Mayfield can't throw it 50 times. They're like 31st in the league in pass attempts. Some Cleveland Browns fan was in my mentions talking about why Baker Mayfield's so good and why he's a good quarterback. They're not throwing the ball. The Cleveland's got to beat you with the run game because Baker can't beat you with his arm. We can beat you. Ben can beat you with his arms. Ben is playing great this year at the end of the day. He's great at reading defenses. He's not turning the ball over that much. So you got to love it for Big Ben Roethlisberger. Ian's Nation's fingers. I smell like what real shit ate. Man, Ian's Nation's fingers. What's up, bro? You're my biggest fan, huh? So there it is, man. Nice little broadcast for today. Let's see what else I got lined up. They're barely scraping by. The Steelers have a point differential of plus 124, 11.7 per game, and are 8-3 against the spread. Meanwhile, the dominant, unstoppable Chiefs have a point differential of plus 110, 10 points per game, and are 6-5 against the spread. So it's not like the Chiefs are out there dominating teams. We're beating teams by more than the Kansas City Chiefs. The Steelers haven't given up 30 points all year long. Sure, the Ravens ran the ball well against us a few times. Sure, other teams ran the ball against us well a few times, but Steelers are undefeated at the end of the day. So that's all I know. I wanted to get a little bit of a broadcast up here, talk about this James Harrison thing. Like I said earlier, it's going around all through social media that the Steelers should sign James Harrison. The Steelers should sign James Harrison. The Steelers should sign James Harrison. Don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we're going to bring anybody in here, to be completely honest. I just don't see it. We have that next man up mentality. And I think they have high hopes for Alex Highsmith to be the future outside linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So if you have any comments, you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comment section. Yins Nation's fingers, my favorite guy in the world. What's up? What's up, Yins Nation's fingers? How you doing? Shout out to you for joining the broadcast. Go ahead and hit that thumbs down button or hit the thumbs up button. If you're a hater, hit the thumbs down button. If you're a lover, hit the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button. And let me know what you think about possibly bringing James Harrison in here. I don't think it's going to happen. This is according to Andrew Filipponi. If the Steelers take care of business and don't beat themselves, Bud Dupree is watching the backups play in the fourth quarter. Tomlin has done a great job of getting the stars out of blowouts. That should have happened yesterday. I can't shake that. So Andrew Filipponi's kind of blaming Mike Tomlin for the injury to Bud Dupree, which I think is kind of ridiculous. I mean, it was a tight game. You had to stop the Ravens there in the end. You got to have Bud Dupree in the game. I've seen a lot of hate coming from Mike Tomlin, especially after his comments after the press conference saying that this win was unacceptable. We should have beat the Ravens more. There was a lot of drops in this game, a lot of fundamental things that shouldn't have happened in this game, sloppy play, that we should have beat the Ravens way more. If it wasn't for the 8 drops, we probably would have dominated Baltimore. But yes, he did. He definitely betrayed us. He called out Mike Tomlin, started that whole bounty gate thing, went to the Patriots and started that bounty gate conspiracy shit when he said that Tomlin handed him an envelope when he got fined by the league for illegal hits, which is completely ridiculous. Then he backtracked on it. I was talking about that earlier in the broadcast. So I just wanted to get a quick little stream up here, talk about all this shit going on about James Harrison. Charle Bacth floating the idea that James Harrison should come back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's completely ridiculous. Like I said, the only guy I think the Pittsburgh Steelers might sign is maybe a Clay Matthews. But from the quotes from Tomlin, Missy Matthews, Bob Labriola, the real Steelers insiders, Tomlin pretty much has that next man up mentality. And it's going to be Alex Highsmith. It's going to be Oli Adaney. Probably going to see a lot more of Avery Williamson, like I said. And we'll see how this all plays out. Got to play 3 games in 12 days. I know a lot of Steelers are upset about that. Eric Ebron tweeted out like he's pissed about that. A few other Steelers players are tweeting out that they're pissed about that. Juju. But it is what it is. We got to do what we got to do. We got to keep on winning. We're pretty much going to lock up a playoff spot with a win and a Browns loss. That basically locks up the division. I really think Alex Highsmith can be the next Lamar Woodley. That would be nice. if he could be the next Lamar Woodley, especially Lamar Woodley in his prime before he got that big contract. Lamar Woodley was a beast, bro. Lamar Woodley was a beast of a linebacker. But then once he got paid, he kind of fell off. That's what a lot of Steeler fans say. A lot of Steeler fans want to sign Bud Dupree. And then I see a lot of different Steeler fans saying that if we give Bud Dupree that big money, he could be the next Lamar Woodley. So hopefully Alex Highsmith can give us somewhat of the type of production Bud Dupree did. Maybe not the same amount of production, but, with Cam Hayward setting that edge, I think he can get after the quarterback. I mean, he was a sack wizard in college. So, next man up, baby. Let's go. Ole Daney got the speed. Highsmith got the power. So, you split reps between those two, and I think we can still get it done. We got a great team this year. The offense is playing good. I would like to get more consistent on the ground, like I've said in other broadcasts. And Ben just got to keep playing like Ben. And this wide receiving core just needs to keep progressing because I think we got a young, good wide receiving core. I wouldn't say elite. I would give it a B plus. The wide receiving core. I mean, they're very young, and they can only keep getting better week in and week out. We had a lot of drops against the Ravens. You can't have that, but they're only going to get better every year. Johnson's had some great games. Claypool's had some great games. Ebrom's had some good games. It's pick your poison with the Steelers offense. So, what's up, Brandon Rogers? It's pick your poison with the Steelers offense. And here's the tweet from the Steelers' combined opponent record is 33-47-2. The Chiefs' combined opponent record is 33-50. Nobody wants to talk about the Chiefs like that, though. Just the Steelers. That's what everybody's saying is the Steelers are overrated. But we're 11-0, the only undefeated team left in the league. The second best team in the league right now is the Kansas City Chiefs. I know a lot of people think that the Kansas City Chiefs are better than the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is fair. They have an elite offense, but you know how the old adage goes. No, we're not picking up Harrison. You know how the old adage goes. Defense wins championships, and that's what Kansas City doesn't have, is a defense. They're very mediocre at stopping the run. They're very mediocre at getting after the quarterback, and Ben is one of the least sacked. I think he might be the least sacked quarterback in the league this year. So if we can establish a run against Kansas City, get an early lead, take their run game out of it, because let's be honest, Kansas City's running the ball very well this year. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is very, very solid running back. Another thing I'm worried about is TJ probably will get double, triple team with a running back and then just make Alex Highsmith have to make plays. I mean, that could happen. But what I like about the Steelers defense is the defensive line. I've been talking about this all year, is our defensive line in the 3-4 defense. They're great at filling holes and stunning and taking on multiple offensive linemen. Cam Hayward is the type of defensive end that's not going to go out there and get the sacks because he's mostly stunning and taking up blocks. Same with Tuitt. Tuitt is a beast. He's a monster. Tuitt's a monster. Very underrated piece to this defense. He can fill up blocks, stunt. So it's going to be hard to double team those type of players because you got the defensive line that opens everything up for this team and this defense getting after the quarterback. So Highsmith, I think, will have a lot of opportunities to run free at the quarterback and do similar to what Bud Dupree does and just sack the quarterback, shore up the tackles, and I think we'll be all right. Like I said many times, I would like a Clay Matthews or a Cameron Wake, but it is what it is. I don't think it's going to happen. What up, Jordan Dog? Opponents love to hold on to TJ Watt, and we never get the calls. Yeah, that's what a lot of people say about the Steelers. We're getting a lot of lucky calls, especially against the Dallas game. They said the refs bailed us out in the Titans game, the Ravens game. I don't want to hear that. Bad calls go both ways, week in, week out. So I think we've been playing well this year. I mean, we're 11-0. It's just a hot take, man. Colin Cowherd loves to just spew these hot takes just to get reactions, just to get the Steelers fan base all riled up. The Steelers are overrated. The Steelers ain't this. The Steelers ain't that. That's because we're trending. We're the topic of conversation every year because we're the elite. We're the elite of the elite. We're the creme de la creme. So people love to hate. People love to discount and discredit what we've been doing. This is the first 11-0 team in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. We've been an organization since 1933. We have tied for the most Super Bowls in the history of the NFL. And this is the first 11-0 team in history. And people are out here still hating on this team. Come on, bro. Come on. That's just ridiculous. That's nothing but clickbait. That's just nothing but some reactionary bullshit for fucking just hate. That's all Colin Cowherd is a troll. He's an elite level troll. That's all he is. It's not about being right. It's not about being wrong. It's about hot takes. It's about getting people all stirred up, getting people to react and react and react. Ian's next target to Ian's Nation's next target to Porfray. Yeah, good one, dude. We doing good. You gotta love it, man. I got my trolls. You gotta love it. That's when you know you're doing things right, when you got the trolls out here. I'm not having I'm not hating. I have respect for the Steelers. Oh, I know you have respect. I'm talking about the mainstream media. We get hate every year, Jordan Dog, from the mainstream media and every other fan base. I mean, Steelers, there was a report that came out that the Steelers are pretty much the most hated franchise in the NFL. And that's because we're so successful. Other teams wish and dream that they could have the success over such a sustained period of time as the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin, 14 years as a head coach, and has yet to have a losing season. How many other teams in the league can say they've went 14 years without a losing season? That's one of the greatest stretches in the history of the NFL. Yeah, I think that's tied for the greatest stretch in the history of the NFL. Tomlin is going down as a Hall of Fame coach. If he wins another Super Bowl, it's pretty much locked up that Mike Tomlin is a Hall of Fame coach. So let the haters hate. We're 11-0. We're looking to win a Super Bowl this year. Other than the Kansas City Chiefs, there ain't too many great teams in the NFL, in the AFC. The Bills, and the Kansas City Chiefs are the two teams that I'm really worried about the Pittsburgh Steelers possibly taking an L to. The Titans, okay, the Titans are good, but their defense isn't that great. Same with the Kansas City Chiefs. Their defense isn't that great. So I think I went long enough today. If you're new to the channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. If you really care about the channel, let us know we're out here. We're coming with Steelers content on the daily, live streams, videos, highlights, updates, everything. So, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I mean, Jordan Dog, your Saints are definitely a top dog in the NFC, especially if you get Drew Brees back. I'm worried about Taysom Hill being your quarterback, Jordan Dog. Hopefully, Drew Brees can come back healthy for the Saints. And if he does, I think it could be a Saints-Steelers Super Bowl. And that would be a great Super Bowl to see. Brees versus Ben, two elite Hall of Fame quarterbacks going at it. I mean, the Saints are good on both sides of the ball. So, Jordan Dog, y'all got a good team, buddy. Y'all got a good team, man. Y'all are the top dogs in the NFC, no question. And I think you guys got a good chance to come out of the NFC. But I'm not too worried about NFC teams because we don't have to play them until the Super Bowl comes around. We really don't got to play those NFC teams. We don't got you on the schedule this year. So I don't think about this. I don't think about this. Oh, man. Yin's Nation will go ghost after the Steelers' first L. Man, I wonder who that is. I think I know who that is. I know who that is. My little favorite troll out there. My favorite troll. I think he hails from the city of Fresno. Paul Blart looking motherfucker. You're no problem, Jordan Dog. So if you're new to the channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Yins Nation will never go ghost. Yins Nation is a Pittsburgh Pirates fan. So if you think I'm gonna go ghost after the Pittsburgh Steelers' first loss, I'm out here rooting for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who's had like 2 winning seasons in the past like 45 years. But the Pittsburgh Pirates are a great organization. They're tied for like fourth for the most World Series wins in the history of the MLB. But we have a garbage owner. But I'll still be rooting for the Pirates week in, week out, even though they're complete trash. Seattle's offense is better than Pittsburgh's, and Pittsburgh's defense is better than Seattle's, Brandon Rodgers. So what's your point? We have an average offense and the best defense. You have probably the best offense, second or third best offense, and a very, very below average defense. So y'all better hope that you can get out of there, because the Saints are better than you on both sides of the balls. Brandon Rodgers. What up, Ash Raider? Shout out to Ash Raider. Shout out to the Oakland Raiders on the outside looking in. I know the Raiders fans hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. Raiders fans, they still hold a lot of hate in their heart because of the immaculate reception. But let's be honest, the Raiders haven't been relevant since pretty much Mark Madden was their coach. Or okay, maybe when Rich Gannon was their quarterback back when like the Y2K in the Y2K was trending. Year 2000 or whatever whatever year they made the Super Bowl. This is the last time the Raiders are relevant. But the Raider fans like to talk, even though they're on the outside looking in right now. Seattle is better than New Orleans if Taysom is starting. The Saints, I mean, I'll agree with that. What's up, man? Cowboys legend. I know Cowboys legend likes to talk like the Cowboys are the creme de la creme, and the NFC East is the best division in all of football. He wants to talk about we have the most Super Bowls of any division. But if you go back in the history of all the NFL, they still count the records. Even back in like 1933 when the NFL wasn't the NFL. And they still count that as records, all-time records for teams, just like the Cleveland Browns championships still count, and the Packers championships still count. So the Browns, I believe, have 8 championships. The Steelers have, 6 Super Bowls? And the Ravens have 2 Super Bowls? So who got the better division? You know, you all want to sleep on the Cleveland Browns, but the Cleveland Browns were a great organization back in the day, back when Jim Brown was running that ball. Jim Brown was running that ball, and the Cleveland Browns, one of the best organizations ever. The NFC East is the worst division in football. There's no way you can spin it. You could talk about back in the VCR days when the Cowboys were good, and Michael Irvin was smoking crack cocaine and making all those catches. But that's about the last time the Dallas Cowboys have been relevant, all right? That's it. Dallas Cowboys ain't nada. Let's ring check. Dallas loves a ring check. Let's ring check it. We got the one for the thumb and the pinky. Y'all just got the one on the thumb and 5 on the one hand, but we got one on the other hand. And we're looking the Ravens were birthed in like year what? Like 97, 95, and they already have 2 Super Bowls. So come on. The Ravens are a very young franchise that already have 2 Super Bowls and are the creme de la creme pretty much every year, just like the Steelers are the creme de la creme pretty much every year. The Steelers have the best win-loss percentage next to New England in the past 10 years. Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing season for 14 years. We're the creme de la creme. The creme de la creme. The creme de la creme. I know, I was 15. I wasn't even alive in 1930. Neither was I. Winning division isn't anything for the Saints. The main goal is to win playoff games. That's true. That's true. You got to win the playoff games. You're right, Jordan Dog. So, yeah, I had to get a little bit of a broadcast up here. I think Breeze retires on top, personally, if you ask me. Yeah, Breeze is getting old, man. If you don't win it this year, I think Breeze is just going to hang it up no matter what. I mean, the dude's his ribs collapsed in and stuff. So, yeah, I want to get a little early morning broadcast. Shout out to everybody coming in here: Ash Raider, Jordan Dog, Cowboys Legend 27, Brandon Rogers. Where's my little troll accounts at? Ian's Nation will go ghost after the Steelers' first loss. Ness, G Smoke. I had a couple other troll accounts in here. Where's my troll account? Steelers Gang, Rashad Powell. Shout out to everybody joining the broadcast. I say Russell will have 3 Super Bowls by the time he's done. Maybe. He's an elite quarterback, Brandon. I'll give you that. Russell Wilson's definitely top 3, top 2 quarterback, but he needs a defense. And that's what the NFL is a salary cap driven league. And once Russell Wilson got paid all that money, the Legion of Boom started going away. You lost Earl Thomas, you lost Cam Chancellor, you lost a lot of talent on your defense. And when it comes to playoff time, you need a defense, Brandon Rodgers. You need a defense, Brandon Rodgers, to win, especially come playoff time. Defense wins championships, baby. And the Steelers got the best defense in the league. So all y'all can hate on the Pittsburgh Steelers. But we got a Hall of Fame quarterback in Big Ben Roethlisberger. 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback, Big Ben Roethlisberger. In a defense that's elite. So y'all can keep hating. But we're 11-0. Undefeated. Undefeated. So if you're new, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. Peace out, everybody.